I don't know. I do definitely like Barrows, but I feel like there's definitely still better than Barrows. So
I agree. Barlow's for me is just my childhood. My parents took me there all the time.
okay. Are you from Phoenix?
Not born here, but raised.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
basically.
Where'd you go? You just hit roll and left?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
We're doing 2 podcasts.
I was gonna say it's like completely full.
I know.
It's like sipping on.
McDonald's cup, and so I couldn't have. They're not sponsoring me yet.
Do they serve this coffee at this hour?
I think it's coffee all day there, isn't it?
It is okay.
I think it is.
Yeah, I'm sure it's coffee all day there.
No, because I went after because I wanted breakfast and they didn't have any. So you know,
I know what's the best breakfast is it's either between for me Wendy's or Carl's Jr.
I haven't had breakfast from either of those places.
me neither.
Try.
Really, honestly, I like Taco Bell.
I was gonna say Taco Bell. No.
Surprised me ever.
Chick-fil-A's breakfast. Their breakfast burritos are. I love. Have you guys had Chick-fil-A's breakfast?
Yep. I think breakfast food at all day is just. I grew up. Even my parents would make breakfast for dinner.
Yeah.
That was a special thing, right? Right? Okay, I'm not the only one.
No, this is definitely hot.
See, I can do.
And it wasn't because we were poor.
Yeah.
It was a luxury. Let me just make that clear. There was nothing else.
You guys are just broke as shit now.
No.
So I can do breakfast for any meal, but I cannot do a dinner food for breakfast. Like
Yeah, I can eat pizza for breakfast
no, I can't even.
because
It's too greasy.
that's about it though.
I have to do some like breakfast food or nothing.
Yeah.
Really?
My stomach's too queasy in the morning.
Yeah.
I can't even really eat breakfast, to be honest.
After high school, I used to be like very much a breakfast person. I couldn't not eat breakfast. Like if I went up until 10 or 11 a.m., my stomach was just like eating itself over. But then the second I hit high school, like anxiety and stuff and like social cues and all that bullshit started kicking in. I just couldn't eat breakfast anymore. Like maybe a smoothie,
Yeah,
but like I wouldn't eat until like 11 or 12.
yeah, that's not.
I'd be 100% fine.
My roommate got me for Christmas. We go big for each other. He got me like an espresso machine. And so I've been like really kind of like addicted to that.
Yes,
An espresso machine.
fun to make espresso.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you do the little art?
I have no idea how to do that. It's like the
sticker.
I don't know a lot about coffee. I just love how it tastes and the smell and the noise that it makes. It's a good way for me to wake up.
Yeah.
Coffee ASMR is the best thing where like I can literally sit for hours on Instagram just watching people brew coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's weird. I used to be a barista too, so
Oh really?
but I couldn't do any of the artwork stuff. Like I could, but now anytime I go to a place to like get coffee or something, I'm like critiquing so hard in my brain of how they're making it from the espresso machine. I'm like, you're not supposed to hear that sound. Like I can tell the cup is hot enough. It's like you're burning the beans. Stop it.
Where did you barista?
It was
Baristed.
it was a little place in downtown Phoenix called Ethiopia. It's like a little Ethiopian shop.
Oh,
It's like real.
It was like authentic beans from Ethiopia. Like the taste of this was unlike any other, and like there's a very traditional mom and pop place that like their chai is completely like where the fuck are you going?
I'm fixing future.
Just keep leaving. Good? Are we good now? Okay.
Sorry, I'm here.
Okay. No, we're good now.
I'm back.
You're glued to that seat now.
I'm back.
Okay.
For good.
But yeah, no, I critique so much when I'm doing it, but like I learned so much from this little pinch because they're so passionate about coffee. Like I'd be doing like not supposed to hear that. I'm like, really? I didn't know it was like that intense, but like they were so intense with it.
All right, we're over here talking about high-end quality. Like
Yeah.
just drinking McDonald's.
I know.
It is just as good. I get the caramel coffee here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
you know.
For someone that's from out here, while we're still on the topic of coffee, what's your go-to coffee? Because I know that in Flagstaff, obviously like Starbucks was like a big thing, but that Dutch Bros came in, and the second Dutch Bros came in, that was like the fad.
Okay.
And then I know we have like some like local places that just like have their own places, but like Dutch Bros started to become like the thing. And then I come down here and I found out about things like La Grove that I've never heard of before until I came down here. So as someone who's from here, and you answer this too, if you're from here, I want to hear like what your guys' favorite coffee spots are here.
I wouldn't say I'm like a coffee aficionado. I know like a lot about it like that. So probably my answer would be like really, really weak. To be honest with you, like I would just go to Starbucks in Dutch.
That's kind of
Okay, like the basic places, yeah, but like the quality for those have always still like sustained.
Yeah.
I've never, you go to Starbucks and you're never gonna be disappointed, right?
True.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I go to Starbucks and their stuff is so sweet that I'm like,
I love sweet.
I mean, I don't mind sweet, but sometimes I want to taste the bitterness of the coffee a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
especially when maybe if it's dirty chai. If like
That's what makes so fat.
well, but then like I can't that's too much caffeine. I can't do that. Like, I did a dirty chai today and I felt it. For the first time in a while, I actually felt it.
Caffeine makes me sleepy.
No, it's not. I know off coffee, Jamba Juice, man. Anything juice related, I think is
Coffee from Jamba Juice?
I know I'm saying, but
Oh.
outside of coffee.
Oh yeah.
I think a good way for me, if I don't want to have the jitters,
Yeah.
like because it will give me that. I think I'll just try to like make a smoothie.
Yeah,
That's
true.
smart. With like protein and yeah.
I'm more of a
Have to try to be healthy. I mean, old.
yeah.
I turned 27 this year.
Okay, so we're about to sleep.
Well, I mean, it's creepy. You know, I'm just creeping on you. You know.
I started feeling that way when I was 27, but I'm 32 now, and I feel so much younger than I was when I was 27.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
That's good to know. So I have something to look forward to.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
get like
okay.
a new wave when you turn 30. You're like, okay, now I gotta actually start trying. Yeah, I knew we have it.
That's
So
Yeah.
you just turned 27. How long have you been in the film industry?
so mad since maybe I was like 18, like fresh out of high school. I mean, for me, I wouldn't know exactly how you consider when you enter the industry or even like where that begins or ends really. But like that's where my journey started. Like right after high school, I just was like, I knew I wanted to do this. I knew I loved storytelling and I just wanted to like pursue that.
What was your first experience as like that made that start happen? Like, was it just like the first time you picked up a camera, the first time you read a script?
I mean, I picked up a camera. I remember when I was like little, my mom got us for Christmas like one of those like flip cams.
Oh,
You know, those were like the big thing at the time. So I had that and Windows Movie Maker, basically. That was all I had to kind of just start creating stuff. And I didn't even start making things with, this is kind of embarrassing. I didn't make things with like my friends first. I started off with making like stop motion, like action feet. I would like the move and add sound effects and all that kind of stuff. And so, which is crazy because I don't even do stop motion today. That was literally how I was like introduced into how editing works and everything.
Cool.
Well, you kind of have to start with friends. That's literally
Yeah.
like how you right. You can't just immediately get in there and be like, "Oh, I'm Steven Spielberg, cool." I'm at me. Like you gotta start somewhere, and I feel like with friends is how usually people get their start. I mean, you just unlock a core memory for me that I haven't remembered in so long, but it was the first camera I ever got. It was I remember I was at Walmart and they were in the toy aisle, but for some reason they had these like not the flip ones, but it was like the longer ones that just had like flip out. I mean, and it shot probably like 480p, like
Yeah.
shitty little things like $20. Took double the batteries and stuff. But I was like, I wanted that, and then sure enough, for Christmas, because Christmas is like 2 weeks later, I got it for Christmas, and then the first thing, me and my brother, we were opening it, and we're like, wait. Okay, we need to think of some stuff. And so the first thing we filmed was like our own really, really shitty parody of Karate Kid of like I played what's his I don't even remember
Daniel.
Yeah, I played Daniel. And then I think my brother played both the sensei and the bully at the same time. I'm like, okay, do this. Like we get like ketchup and sprayed on my face to act like blood and doing that, and then we did our own version of Deal or No Deal. And so it was just like those fun, like little reenactments that we were doing. I have no idea where the footage or where anything is. I just poor memory with my brother.
My senior year was the first like real attempt to make something. And so I made what you call it like a web series basically.
Okay.
Each episode was like maybe 5 minutes long. And so it was Titan Polaroid. And what the premise was this individual was like living in a black and white world. It was like everyone knew they were living in a black and white world, kind of like Pleasantville Oh, guys, like, yeah, right. So I was kind of pulling inspiration from that at that time. And he discovers a Polaroid where he looks through it, he can see color. And so it becomes this like journey of this depressed individual trying to find the color, trying to get to that world and see what that feels like. And that was like, I put that on out YouTube. I was really nervous about that and how people were going to kind of receive that. And it seemed to have like a real response to people because it dealt with depression, it dealt with grief and loss, things that I was dealing with at that time as like a high schooler. And so I just kind of put all that on film. You know, this is how I feel. That let me see how other people feel. And people respected that and honored that.
Was this for like a project for school, or was it just something you wanted personally to go?
No, it was completely something I just did. My time, me and my friends shot it together. We edited and we put it out. I think it was like literally my senior like graduating party. We released like the first episode.
Cool.
And so my family, friends, everyone's like sitting around the table.
Oh, that's cool.
Watching it, yeah.
Oh man, that sounds like so much fun to be able to do something like that.
I think that's the best way to do it is for fun, you know.
I mean,
yeah,
literally. I think that's always been my thing with films is that it's just fun to do. You know, any project that I have like an opportunity to like jump on. If it's not fun, I'm not interested.
I'm
not invested. I don't know.
Do you have formal, I guess, education or training in it? Like, did you end up going to school for film, or is it just your passion?
When I graduated high school, I believe that education in that was very important, that you had to have some kind of degree, certification in order for people to take you somewhat seriously. Yeah. So I did enroll in Los Angeles Film Connection, which is a small kind of rinky-dink school, to be honest with you. But it had a lot of credibility behind it. And so I had a mentor, and he lived out here in Arizona. So I didn't actually have to live in California to do the program.
Oh, okay.
So I worked with my mentor out here, learned off of him. There were things about him that I liked and things about him that I didn't. Right. Things that we were kind of just like clashing on. And I think ultimately I kind of walked away with my own different perspective on kind of like film and versus his own, you know. One thing that he told me that always stood out to me was like, he was like, Isaac, you're way too sensitive. You're way too sensitive and you're not going to survive in this industry.
I've been told that a bunch.
That always stood with me. Yeah. Broke my heart because I was like, wow, I'm not going to thrive. But
yeah,
I come at everything with an emotional point of view. Everything, whether it's the writing, the camera, the actors, whatever, it's like always like how I feel.
Right.
You know, so I can't do this without having that emotional connection.
Yeah. There's like two different types of filmmakers. There's like the business side and the technical guys, and then the artists. You have to have both.
Yeah.
And for someone to tell you that you're too sensitive, like
he was a businessman. He was 100% of it, and I don't understand that
side of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
really.
See, I do kind of understand both. I do kind of lean a little bit more towards the business side of the stuff. But of course, as an actor and producer, I do have the artistic side.
Mm-hmm.
But I still always remember that this is a business. And so, like, we're not in a charity case.
Yeah.
I've mentioned that a few times on here. Like, this is ultimately a career and it's a business. And so there are some, like, as actors, we have to remember that, like, even if you have an agent, you still have to put in some fucking work.
Yeah.
Even if you have a manager, like, just because you get signed, just because you get to this point, doesn't mean that, like, oh, you get to ride the fun wave for the rest of your life. Like, no, you are now your own business.
Mm-hmm.
You have to figure out a way to market yourself. You have to figure out a way to do taxes and be able to make it to where you are hireable, especially by those big companies. Because if you just take the ride and like, oh, I just got signed with this agency, now everything is good. It's like, okay, well, you need to give them something to be able to market. They're not going to do that for you. You're one of 20 million fish in the sea for that. If you don't do your job, they're going to drop you. They're not here to babysit you or do anything. And with the sensitivity part, I agree with both sides.
Yeah.
It's a thing that with being sensitive, don't learn how to take stuff not personally, but embrace emotion. And for me, like there's that difference between like, don't be so sensitive to the people that like, oh, they go for auditions and they get told no a bunch of times. You have to have thick skin to be able to do all that kind of shit because you're going to get told no way more than you ever get told yes.
But you have to be told no a bunch of times to
Yeah.
get thick skin now. That's the thing.
Exactly.
When you tell a beginner that you're too sensitive, like they should have told you like that you're going to go through a bunch of stuff to get over your sensitivity. You know what I mean?
There was one time, not to derail, but there was one time we were working on a project together, and I was assigned to edit it for him, and I sent it to him, and he was like, "You didn't. Tell me who you paid to edit this." And I was like, "Dude, this is literally my school. This is what I have to do. Like, I made that." And he was like, "No, you didn't. You don't have to tell me who made it, whatever, but I know that you didn't." I was like, not even my mentor believes that I have the capability to do this. And that was always my struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would honestly take that as a good compliment, though.
Right.
You did such good work that someone who does have experience doesn't even think that you did it because it was so out of his perspective of you. So yes, there is that perspective of like, he doesn't believe in me, but there's also the other perspective of like, holy shit, I did so good. He doesn't even fucking believe it's me.
Exactly.
That there was another podcast I was listening to that they wrote, I think it was like a poem or something. And he turned it into his teacher. And like at first, like he was known as that kid who just didn't really try at school. He didn't really try at all with any of this. But then like poetry came in his English function. Artistic kid, he loves to write stuff. So he writes out his poem, turns it in. The teacher gives him an F, and he was like, "What the fuck? Why did you give me an F?" She's like, "Oh, it was an amazing poem. It's just you didn't write it." And he was like, "Yes, I did." And so he had to go, or she had like talked to the parent and stuff because now there's like things of plagiarism that are in play. And the mom's like, "I watched him write it all night. Actually, this is actually his work." And like the teacher was just like, "I still don't really believe you, but okay, I have to give you the A now." But it's like
That's such a terrible teacher.
I know.
Like, isn't your whole point like trying to help people be better at who they are, and not?
And there's teachers out there, I think, that have had a huge influence on me in a positive way. And then there is that, like, I would say, like, that 10% of those teachers that have, like, humiliated me.
Yeah.
You know, like, I hate to kind of go on this subject.
I have a story too.
But I remember in high school turning in a paper, and for whatever reason at the time, I was indenting paragraphs wrong. And I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. And I believed that what I was doing for years was right. No one at Edinburgh corrected me on how I was right. So I turned my paper in to my history teacher, and he comes up to me in front of everybody and is like, "You're messing with me, right?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Come on, man. I know you're messing with me. I know nobody can write like this. Nobody taught you. You're telling me someone taught you how to write like this in front of the entire class." And I'm like, "Yet, listen, if you want me to rewrite it, I will. Just please stop right now." And he was like, "Oh, wait, you're serious?" And like, it was just completely humiliating. That's when I was like, okay, I need to be a better writer.
Well,
So,
great.
I know, right?
Script and it was amazing.
That's okay. I want to get to your story,
Okay.
but before we do, that is one of my biggest peeves of all time. It's always said you praise in public, but criticize in private.
Yeah.
That's what I've always learned. Like that's what a proper teacher does. I don't care what class you're in. I don't care where it is. If you ever decide to fucking criticize someone like that in front of everybody, that's not criticism. That's just humiliation at that point. Like you're not teaching them anything. You're not in there getting into their brain.
And see, I like criticism.
Yeah.
I have myself like a podcast called The Critics where I talk and review about movies.
Yeah.
And I think for some people, there's like, "Oh, well, you're a hypocrite because you go and make movies. And why don't people talk about yours?" Like, well, that's for me when I review a film, I'm critiquing it and trying to find the best parts of it and the parts that need fixing so that the next time you come into it, like, you can make a better film. You know, so I think that's for me when it comes to criticism. I love constructive criticism. I love when you're coming from a point of view of like, I think you could do better.
Yeah. I mean, criticism is always a very good thing. It's what helps us build. It's what helps us learn. Obviously, some people are a little bit, they take it better than others, but there's always the proper way to deliver it, the proper way to give it to somebody. And there's always improper ways. Like when you are criticizing someone, like I said, take it in private. And don't just sit there and be like, you did shit work. This is shit. This is shit. This is shit. And you're supposed to go there and be like, look, I love the passion behind it. I like you have the right idea, but I want to help bring you along to exactly what you did wrong. How it can be improved? Like when you're criticizing somebody, it's not supposed to just be what they did wrong. It's supposed to be how can they be better? What can they do to learn? That's the whole point of criticism, not just to insult, but to learn. I want to hear your story. You said you had a fun story.
It's not fun.
Or a story.
Mine happened in college. I went to NAU for screenwriting, and my screenwriting teacher gave me an F. This is the same story, basically. They gave me an F, and I went up to him, and I was like, what did I do wrong? And he was like, I just don't like what the story's about. And I was like, you're supposed to be teaching me how to write the script.
God.
So, like, I don't give a crap, like, if you don't like what I'm writing about, but did I do it correctly? And he was like, oh, yeah, you did, and gave me an A right there. But what happened later, because I was going to school for screenwriting specifically, he was my main teacher for the rest of my classes. He hated me so much that he literally, in front of everybody, took my script, and it was like red writing all over it. And he like kind of threw it at me and was like, you need to stop writing. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I just like opened it, and it was just like crossed off, like red writing everywhere. And I just got up and left, and I switched majors to film production instead of screenwriting. And he emailed me like 2 months later and was like, are you ever coming back to class? And I was like,
Fuck you.
yeah, I was like, I don't think that your class is going to help me write my script. And so, but later on too, he was in charge because I had to switch my major to film production. We had a choice of doing a documentary for the school or our own short film. And so we had to pitch our short film to somebody that would judge it. And guess who the judge was? He literally shut down my short film Access too, and I had to do a documentary for the school.
It seems like he just did it like it seemed like it was like completely like his opinion about you was biased, and he couldn't like be unbiased about it.
What I told him,
If you don't like a script, that's fine.
Yeah.
Why don't you like the script? What is not working? Like
that's what
you
I
can't
told
just
him.
not like it because of your religious beliefs, because of your political beliefs. Like you have to be able to put that stuff aside.
Well, it's art, and everyone has their own perspective of art.
Yeah, he was really, really bad. I took that conversation to him, was like, honestly, if you think I'm failing this badly, that's a reflection of you and your teaching, not me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, how is this not your fault? And so he just like, he didn't like that.
It was like, fuck.
No, he's not there.
I feel like when it comes
Put it that way.
when it comes to mentors and teachers and anyone in that kind of I guess sense of power or anything, there's a difference with like there's a certain mentality you have to have when you're in charge of teaching other people. Being able to put any personal vendettas, biases, anything like that away is the most important thing, because if someone hands you a script, it's like, I just don't like this. I don't know if it's just because you're jealous of shit because when you were my age, you couldn't do something this good, and now you're trying to find every little thing. But like the whole point of that is for this person that you're teaching to grow.
Yeah.
If they're doing good. Keep on that, keep momentum going. But anyone that has like that personal vendetta against a student or that personal bias.
My problem with it was like everyone else was doing like Spider-Man 17, you know, and like whatever else. They're just like copy pasting scripts that already existed.
Yeah.
And so they could just change a couple words and the formatting was already right. And so I was trying to do original scripts, and like he would like give me a C because like I got like a fact wrong about like how much money someone made. And I'm like, who cares how much they made? Like, why is that what's digging for, you know?
That's insane to believe too, because even like, isn't our goal as like creatives is to like kind of create the next generation of artists to tell these stories? And so in order for someone to come up to you and be like, you should just stop writing, that's literally the most insane thing I've
They should be fired from that position.
I wrote the president of the school like immediately.
She took action.
He still works there.
Well, listen. Those that cannot do, teach.
See, that's what I.
So I think we're done. Yeah, we're done with this guy.
Yeah, thing about, I guess, formal education that I was kind of mentioning. I'm very particular on the formal education, where it's coming from, because of the fact that like if you're going to school for say film or something, and you're just going to like NAU, ASU, something like that just happens to have a film school. Who are you learning from? Is it someone who just went through school themselves as a professor, or is someone who has the onset experience, the knowledge of that. Like as an actor, I don't want to learn from someone who just read some textbooks on this and that. I want to learn from another actor who has been in the industry for 30 plus years, who's been on all these shows, movies, who has the experience that I'm looking for, someone that's been in the spot that I want to be. Even in business, if you're going to school for business, I don't want to learn that or just from somebody that just learned some profit and loss charts. I want to learn from like a Bill Gates or something that's succeeded in that.
I think it's really hard to get people at that caliber to work at NAU. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I wouldn't, you know?
But I think that's where it's like you have to kind of learn what you want to do and then go to a school according to that. Like if you want to go for
We have to pay a lot of money to go to a school like that.
Yeah.
You know?
I know.
So for like the people who can't afford those types of schools, like you kind of just get what you get.
Yeah. Have you ever seen like Matthew McConaughey go to like Harvard or something like that, and they're like teaching classes there? I've seen like those those really famous actors. Yeah.
Which yeah, this is kind of hard.
Yeah. And they're gonna come to ASU.
I mean, like you said, sometimes you can't afford to go to a prestigious school like that, but it's just one of those things that like if you are that passionate about it, trying to find a mentor, like not focusing on like, oh, I'm just gonna go to NAU and go to film school, but like
that's why I try really hard. Like I'm in the Florida Arizona Production Association, and I'm a community educator with Arizona filmmakers. We're trying, it's going really slow, but we're trying to do workshops with people who are notable so that like the next generation can learn from somebody that's in the industry. It's not like big time people yet, but like one day we might be huge out here and we can get the big people.
Yeah.
But we're also like trying to raise funds so that we can pay people to come out. Like we just did, a DP came out, did a lighting workshop for Arizona filmmakers, and we flew him out from Chicago.
Oh,
and he does, I forget, like Chicago Fire.
Oh shit, yeah.
And so he taught like a really good lighting workshop, and that's the only one we've been able to do with someone somewhat notable. But
see, and that's all you need, really.
Yeah.
And like that, this isn't to like diss or say that you shouldn't go to college or anything like that. It really truly depends on what you're trying to like focus on.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to be like, let's say just us, like filmmakers, photographers, A, you have to be creative. B, you just have to be an artist. It does come naturally, some people, some it doesn't. You know, you can sit in front of the computer on YouTube all day and watch tutorials on how to be creative, but it's just kind of, it comes with some people. Some people are able to use that. And then you go to the workshops, you go to those mixers, you connect with people, you use social media to your advantage. That's just where we're at. Oh, like you can post something on Instagram and you can get Marvel's attention and exactly to the premiere. Like, how the hell does that happen? I don't know. Like, it just does.
Yeah. I mean, it literally just comes down to ultimately who you know. Like, it doesn't matter what prestigious school or education or whatever equipment that you might have. It literally, like, someone who has the connections to these big ass DPs, these big ass film people, is going to get much further, much quicker than someone who's just like, oh, I have the latest camera. My parents have a lot of money, so they were able to invest into all this equipment. It's like, okay, cool, but you don't have any outlet for it. Like the amount of people in the film industry, even out here that I talked to, that are like, oh, I have this camera, I have this microphone, I have this lighting stuff. I'm like, okay, cool, but do you know how to operate any of it? Do you know any people that can like help? Like, it's cool that you have all that. Don't get me wrong. That is a big step to be able to have tools. But if you don't have the people behind the tools, the networks behind it, the outlet for it, you have nothing.
Honestly, what's really fun about Arizona is like over the years that I've been in it, with the younger generation specifically, like me and younger, we have a really good community out here now.
Yeah.
It's like, honestly, watching your movie, I want to get into this movie.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Watching your movie, like you got so many people involved. Like I wasn't even, because I actually didn't really watch it, let's say, even though I shot like a couple of seconds of it. Just all the actors that you're able to get, and the locations and things. Like
every 5 minutes, I was like, "Hey, there he is!"
Yeah.
Like I know, like at least 80% of the people that you had. Yeah. I know, like all. I'm like, no fucking way! I didn't know he was in
It's
this.
really cool, like to have people that you can reach out to and show up. You know.
Yeah, I am definitely curious. So, is Remnant Falls? Is that your first production?
That's my first feature film.
Okay.
So prior to that, I did 2 short films and I put them on Amazon Prime. And so that was kind of like a way for me to like test the waters, see like, okay, are people engaging? And people, you can see analytics, and see how many people like view them, right away. And so we started getting people's like interest in our short films, and that gave me the confidence to be like, okay, let's attempt to try and make a legitimate like feature film.
Damn.
So that was the first one, and I will say right now I'm in post production for my second feature.
No
Really?
way.
Yeah, it's very hush.
Yeah.
I haven't-
I have not seen anything.
No
about this
title,
one.
no poster, no nothing is released, and I'll talk about it if you guys want to.
Oh yeah, we definitely.
It's we can talk about Remnant. I don't want to take too much away from that.
Yeah.
But I think the point is that Remnant was really like even like a way for me to like test the waters, see how people responded to even that level of format, showing up to the movie theater. That was one thing, never done that before. Putting it out on DVD, never done that before, never made a main menu before, so trying to create a legitimate experience for people so they don't have to watch it on their phone.
Yeah. So how did that go? How did like
the process of doing all that, because first of all, the fact that you put it on DVD, that already was like, okay, interesting. Because obviously in today's society, nothing is released on physical platform. It's always just streaming services. So I'm kind of curious why you did choose to do like Blu-ray and stuff.
Well, as you guys know, I review movies.
Yeah.
That's my personality, unfortunately. That rubs people the wrong way. And some people, they do aspire for that. And there was a period of time for me where I stopped collecting physical media. I think COVID, everything like that. And then Best Buy, I think, was the last place to like shut it down, right? They don't sell no DVDs there anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, yes, this just recently happened. Yeah. And it is scary because I think the only places you can go to are like Walmart.
Yeah.
Target.
Walmart,
And they don't got 4K copies. They don't got nice stuff there. They got regular Blu-rays, DVDs. So for me, that was like my passion for that was coming back. I was collecting 4Ks. I was getting the remasters. I was watching Vertigo on Steelbook. And I was like, I can't watch this from home. I own this. I could touch it. I could show people this. For me, that was my collection. And then when we were done with this film, Remnant, I was like, wait a second. There's an opportunity here. We tried to get it on Amazon and failed twice.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. To be honest with you, we submitted it and it just got rejected twice.
They didn't give any reason or anything?
No, zero reason. And I'm not even tech savvy. I don't even understand that.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like going back to the drawing board. We're like, okay, how can I get people to experience this the way that I experience film?
Gotcha.
And it was like literally like a light bulb went off. Oh. So what we did, to go to your questions, we bought a printer, we bought all the materials, and we do it from home. So I print out the DVD from home. I put the design on it. We do all that on Photoshop. We put it all together. We cut it up. We package it, seal it. Like it's
made with love. That is so cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I
And
have
to
to buy
me,
one now.
I'm not trying to brag, but I don't know personally any book that's doing.
Oh no, not unless it's like a limited edition type of thing that like the studio is like, okay, we're
Where
gonna
the
fix
fix
yeah.
I mean, no, like small time
Yeah,
filmmakers here, in Arizona too, that are like putting their projects out like that. They're putting them on, and again, no disrespect, they're putting them online on a website where people can watch it and stream it, and that's totally cool. But there is a difference between physical media and streaming.
That's very
I mean, because I do have that more business mindset, like the reason of doing that is for the views. Nope, I don't personally have a DVD player anymore. So if you were to have given me a Blu-ray copy or something like
I
that,
don't either.
I wouldn't have been able to play it. So
That's so unfortunate.
yeah. It's also just like it's another thing for me to plug into something that others like. I don't buy DVD. Like I've unfortunately fallen into that whole thing of just like, I want to watch a movie, I'm just going to go to Netflix or something, or Amazon, and just go with what's easier and stuff. And it's one of those also things like,
And see, I'm here to fight that.
Yeah.
I am, you know,
Yeah.
because I fell into that for a while. I really did. Now, with physical media fading away, I'm kind of like back on that high of, we have to, man. So for me, like, I don't have a DVD player. I have an Xbox. And that allows me to actually play 4K movies. So, you know, not a lot of people even do realize that they have the PlayStation can let them play a Blu-ray movie. So, yeah, you don't necessarily have to have a DVD player to watch stuff. Yeah.
I mean, but I also don't even have a console.
Yeah,
I used to like I got after high school and stuff. I got so invested in my careers that I just stopped playing video games. So I stalled it. But then COVID happened, and I was stuck in my house. I got my stimulus check, bought an Xbox just to have something to play at my house. But then even like after COVID ended and everything, I sold it again because I'm like, I don't have time to play this. I don't have that. But it's also, I guess, the main reason why I haven't gone for something like a physical copy of a media like that is just it's one more thing to possibly break. If it scratches, you no longer you have to like get all the stuff to fix it up. Like at least with the digital copy, it's backed up to a server that I can always go back and access or download it. So I guess it's that, but it's also different if it's like a nostalgic collector's.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I want to buy one just because it's like your first feature. And
Yeah.
just to see who you are and like 10 years and be like, I have his first movie book.
So
You have one with you?
you guys said that you don't have DVD players, and so this kind of just feels like a waste.
I have a PS3, but it probably won't play.
Does it do Blu-ray?
Yeah, I think it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
no fucking way.
If you had one, buddy, I could give one to you.
I mean, I could find one. I could find.
Do you want it?
I will not say no.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. We're gonna
Yes, go ahead.
We're gonna get
Yes.
on the vacuum session for you guys. Oh, that is so cool. Okay, we're gonna show the camera. This is what the inside looking like. We're doing this little card that has. Oh, I was not expecting this. Okay, little directed by Isaac Joel. Okay, that's
So I know it's a little weird giving like a DVD with my face on.
no.
I know it's completely strange.
Sounds cool.
To me it is. But first off, Kayla was hugely part of it.
Yes.
And kicking it off, like really. And so I think the entire black and white stuff to me is my favorite part of that.
Crazy. To be honest, I wanted to say that, but I didn't want to be like mean because it's
No, don't be mean at all. We could talk about all
Yeah.
that stuff, but
This is so cool. Oh,
great. I'm gonna put this.
yeah.
I'm glad you guys like
Yeah, no, this is
I'm done.
it. Thank you.
this is so cool, honestly. And this is the proper way to deliver something.
I mean, you can't do it to everybody, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna hype you up again just because like I didn't even know that there were DVDs. So that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's definitely good.
people can purchase a 4K copy or a Blu-ray copy online right now. If they're in Arizona, chances are I'll deliver it to their house because I don't want to.
Oh, that's sweet.
No. I'm just being cheap. I don't want to pay for mailing. So I'll just drive to your house and drop it off. But we have had people purchase it from Japan, Baltimore, California, so Vegas, I think, as well. So there are people. It is spreading very, very little. And I think to me,
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
Yeah, and throughout your lifetime, it'll happen.
My gosh.
You know, that's so cool. Do you have like extras printed just for like safekeeping? Like, or do you just?
I don't have a copy myself. To be
Really?
honest, no, I haven't like even like made one or like saved one for myself. No, I kind of just make them as I go. Yeah, but I do have like a stack of like 4K DVDs and Blu-rays. So if at any point someone needs one, I can make one. But also, what's cool about just speaking about the technology, you know, let's say I go to shoot a wedding, you know, or a short film for someone else. I
Right.
can make them this.
That's where it really comes in.
Yeah.
Right.
If I would get married,
Share those minutes.
like, yeah, it's cool to just get handed like a flash drive with it or something.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, here's a Google Drive, but like to be like, here's like a book, like a steel cover book with like your wedding inside of it, and like be able to like hand that down, maybe even to your kid.
Mhm.
I love that.
I'm inspired.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm not gonna do it, but I'll
Yeah. If you need, I was gonna say no. If you need, let me know. Let me know. It's a service that we want to be providing.
yeah.
For people that don't have all that equipment.
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
I like the nostalgia. It's just for me, I've kind of turned into a little bit of like a minimalist, which is why I don't purchase copies of stuff. And plus, it's also, I don't really watch a whole lot of the same movie more than once. I'll watch the movie, like, unless it's like a movie that I'm absolutely in love with type of thing. But typically, if I'm going to watch a movie, it's a one and done type of thing. And then I kind of move on. And so it's just like clutter. You know, I couldn't just feel bad for just like having clutter, especially during moves or something, or something like that. That's where, like, if I'm in a house that I plan to stay in for the rest of my life and I want to build a library, yeah, I'm 100% down for something like that. And for like, oh, Wi-Fi is down. Okay, cool. Movie night. Let's just go down and pick a movie, or like, I would love to do that kind of stuff. But
I went to, and I guess this is speaking on like the cinephiles, right? The people that love collecting stuff. Like
Yeah.
for me, like outside of this, I collect vinyls, I collect books, video games, magazines, stuff like that. I really do like collecting stuff just in general. But I went to my friend's house. He's a DP. His name's Hunter. I went to Owens. Not Hunter. Oh man, sorry. No, I don't think that's his last name. I'm not familiar with his last name, to be honest. But I went to his house one time for like he was doing a party for Prey. That movie came out on Hulu.
Oh yeah.
And he had a huge collection in his house of movies, and he had a huge standing of Alien. He was a big Alien fan. And he just had an entire room covered with all this stuff. And this is before I was collecting stuff again. Yeah, it's like, oh man, I forgot about this. I forgot why we did this and why we appreciate this so much. It's a library. It's where you can go in a room and look around the shelf. You know, I remember going to Blockbuster. I always have those core memories. And so for me, going to a shelf and literally it lighting up and me going like, what do I want to watch tonight? And to be on your point though, too, about the streaming stuff, I love streaming as well because there's maybe a time where like I'm flying and I want to watch Tenet. You know, I have the digital code and I have a 4K movie. Right. So I can watch Tenet anywhere I go, you know, like that. So for me, that's what I love about both streaming and physical is that I can watch it however I want to watch it. If I want to watch it with surround sound speakers blasting me, I have a 120-inch projector. I love watching movies at home. I love experiencing that. I know not everybody shares that same thing, you know, but that's what I advocate to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love
Thank you for doing. And that's kind of how I am with theater.
Gotta keep it alive.
Yeah. That's so cool. Oh my God. I just was at my friend's house who collects like baseball bobbleheads. It's not about movies at all right now, but like I was like, oh my gosh, that's like the entire Diamondbacks team that I loved back in 2001, like when we finally won the World Series. And I was like, I need to collect things again.
Right.
And you just said like you walked into your friend's room with all these alien things, and like I don't know if it inspired you just then, but like now you're collecting too. I mean, that's a good idea.
Collect anything. Like I said, baseball hats, like literally like anything that means. So that tells you your story. Yeah. That doesn't take up clutter.
Yeah. I do vinyls. Vinyls, which that I accidentally got into because my dad was leaving the state and he used to collect vinyls. And so he was like, either these are going to trash or they're coming with you. And I'm like, say less. Okay, I'll take them. So he gave me like 3 of those big ass milk crates just full of vinyls. And most of them were just like little cheapo things, like artists I've never heard of. But then there were like some golden gems, like the Beatles, Elvis Presley, other artists that I don't know off the top of my head because I'm not young or I'm not old enough to appreciate. But even just like the artisticness of the covers, I put just the covers on my wall because I love the art that goes into even the covers. I'm like, even if I don't ever play this, I love just like looking at this type, like this is a piece of history on my wall now. And my grandfather, I don't know if he was a movie fan like us, but he had a big collection of Denzel Washington films. He had essentially every single Denzel Washington movie you can name of. And maybe he had Shrek 1 and 2 for when the grandkids came over. You know what I mean? So, but it was all that. And every time I was with him, he was always watching one of those movies. And I loved those films too because of him. So when he passed away, my grandmother came to me and was like, I want to donate them. I have no need for them. I don't know what to do with them. And I was like, oh, give them to me. I'll take them. You know, and I just put them on display, you know, because that was his collection next to now my collection. So like, I don't want to say again, because he wasn't like a director. He was a mechanic, you know, but he was an artist in his own. He had a chores, you know. Yeah, exactly. And so I feel like I got that from him, that bug from him.
Yeah.
Have you been to Pollock Cinemas?
You haven't? No.
If you like movie memorabilia, you have to. I think it has the world record, the Guinness World Record for the most movie memorabilia owned by an individual, because he owns the entire theater, and so the entire theater is filled with statues, monuments, all these different things from best movies in history.
We almost had the premiere. Well, someone recommended, why don't you have the Remnant premiere at Pollock?
Yeah.
And I looked at the pictures on there. And the reason why I didn't go with it was because I didn't want people walking in feeling like they were at Disneyland.
Right.
And there was like a statue of Spider-Man and Captain America. You know, I don't want people to think they're gonna walk into a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we kind of were like, all right, let's take them to somewhere a little bit more casual.
Yeah.
We rented out a theater at Harkins at Tempe Marketplace.
Okay.
That was my first time doing anything like that, going through that full like experience. You know, you have to convert the movie in like a large file for them. You know, you can't just give them an MP4 file.
Yeah.
Oh, it's literally like the whole thing, you know. And so we had to go through that entire process. But no, it was really fun doing that.
Really?
Yeah. It was we had essentially like a sold out crowd. I don't want to say it was like entirely sold out, but like friends, family, everybody was like essentially like there. We did a Q&A afterwards. And that was cool too, because you would expect if people didn't like the movie, they'll just, you know, they're like, that was good. Okay, bye. You know what I mean? They'll leave. But a majority of them stayed and had like a lot of questions about the movie. And that was like, I thank God, like they're interested.
I
Yeah.
know.
What were some of the questions that they had for you?
Just the design, you know, the inspiration, you know, the soundtrack, the world of it in itself. That like it's cheap.
You did all the editing and stuff yourself, right? Okay. So you
I promise. I did not do no one else did. I promise. And maybe it's not that good. It's my first feature film.
No, it's
But
edited
yeah.
really well. It was just like, especially for someone who did it individually, who didn't have access to giant sound stages and huge editing teams that Hollywood might have access to like, oh, here's a $10 million budget. Here's a team of 40 people just to work on the sound. And you guys work on this, you guys work on that, especially for the fact that like, this is all a one-man band. It's very impressive for the level of production, the level of people. Like, I was sitting there thinking, how the fuck did you get this place? Like, I don't know how like this is designed. Like, looking to those analytical things. Is we just did our first short film together, where she was director, I was producer or co-producer, and we were starring roles, and just really kind of going into all that.
I saw the behind the scenes.
Oh yeah,
Excited to see that. Actually.
Yeah.
No, continue.
But it was just like all the analytical stuff that goes into it is stuff that people really underestimate, like the locations and stuff. And like, oh, cool, you're just in a warehouse with like, but there's a way to get all these little props and stuff. And like you were, and there was one scene where like sifting through different newspapers and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, the attention to detail and just like those little things to where like you had to specifically print those newspapers specifically for that scene. It's not just like, oh, you just took a random Mason newspaper, did that. It literally had like the title remnant on it and stuff. I'm like,
My graphic designer, my friend Ruben Rapaldo, shout him out. He does all my posters by VFX, kind of like all.
yeah,
Dude, really. But when it came to the documents,
yeah,
I came to him for that, and that was really fun because also, if you notice in like the background, there's like awards, delegates.
Yeah.
Those as well have the remnant kind of like text on there as well. Everything in that scene was like we printed it out. We
really. Even the awards,
got it all dirty. Yeah.
I thought like when it came to the awards, I thought it was just like you just found somebody because instead of like
No,
tennis
those are
stuff.
completely fake.
That is
We had to type his name. We had
Yeah.
to put his actual name on there and the city logo, the emblem. To me, that stuff was important. I didn't want to just put random stuff in there.
which it's like that attention to detail is what
What makes it special?
yeah, it's like the normal person might just look over and be like, okay, cool. But like when you art film, you look at that stuff and be like, hold up, like let's just analyze this scene for a quick second. Like,
And that seems really interesting. I'm glad you kind of point that out because I tried my best to avoid like heavy exposition where like, oh, this is where they're going to explain a lot of stuff, you know. For me, it's like let the story tell the story. Basically.
Right.
Let the characters, let everything unfold in front of the audience and not spoon feed that information. So when it came to the documents, it was like if they're paying attention up until this point, they're gonna be reading. And if you look closely at it, it tells the story of his father and like the battle that kind of happened before, and even like it sets up the final act because it talks about the chemical.
gotcha.
And when they end up at the final act and they fight there, you know, that whole section was insane in itself too, because that warehouse that we shot,
Yeah.
it's not even there anymore.
Really?
They
What?
shut it down. Nobody works there anymore. Like literally, it's not even a studio.
Yeah.
Like it was a warehouse by my house, And I went up to the guy and was like, "Can we shoot here?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure."
Oh my
It was literally kind of like just like under the table type deal. And it was cold. It was the winter. We were freezing in there. It was dirty in there. All this. And but the environment played to what we need.
Yeah.
Literally all of the barrels. And we didn't have to move nothing. We didn't have to set nothing up. It was like, all right, I'm just going to jump on this and jump off that and just kind of run around, and hopefully it makes sense at the end of the day.
So those were already all in there then.
Yes,
That
we
was-
did not move or set.
Okay, because I was talking to her, I'm like, how did they get like all these? Because I thought that you guys maybe had to like put all the barrels and stuff in there, get all that. Because I was like, that's a really good touch if he went in and did all that. But it's awesome you're able to find a location that did have that kind of stuff. All right.
I'm lazy, so for me, it's like, and it would just pull up and just shoot wherever is there, like as little setup as possible, just using natural lighting, using the natural like resources there, not making it feel like too artificial, like too many lights are set up, too many camera angles. Like for me, the less the better.
Yeah.
Right.
That was kind of fun because I only shot like 2 days of it. It was like maybe like 10 seconds of the movie.
It's not 10 seconds. You're underestimating it. No, you're underestimating.
No, it's like the first like 20 minutes.
Yes, it's at least the first like 15, 20 minutes of the film.
Okay.
At least.
Yeah.
Before the title sequence came.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was like 22.
Yeah.
But there was like a bunch of it that wasn't the camera op though. There was like 3 other.
Yeah. There was whenever other people weren't available, we would go to
Yeah.
other people to kind of, and for me, going back to what you were talking about, like, oh, I see that person.
Yeah.
That person, like, I wanted the film to feel like an ensemble.
Yeah.
I always wanted it to feel like when you're watching it, you can kind of maybe take me outside of the equation and just be like, oh, there's my friend. There's my
We
that.
were doing all the time. Yeah.
Yes.
You had literally some of my favorite people of all time in there, and I was like, oh man, of course you got this person.
Honestly, for me, what I was looking at was because people weren't like available all the time, like on the camera side,
I mean,
you had a bunch of different camera ops, like
Mhm.
VPs throughout the whole movie because you
Mm.
just wanted to make it. Whoever was available, you
Yes.
hired them. And it looked very similar throughout. Like I was wondering because like people's styles are different.
Yeah.
But I like
I think yes.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, we shot everything on the Komodo.
Okay.
And I thought that kind of.
Okay.
And so when it came to the black and white stuff, I
Yeah.
believe we were shooting on a black and white of it, right? And so I felt with that and the Komodo stuff, it was matching really well, especially the fact that it was in black and white.
Yes.
So there really was the black and white stuff. Man, I love that stuff because it feels so natural. It really does. It feels like a Western.
That's good.
And there was that day that we shot the first day, actually, right when I'm in the ground,
Yeah.
in the dirt. All of that stuff was like, I don't remember how you felt, but for me, it was like, I don't know how this is going to look,
Yeah.
how this is going to portray. But if the writing and the scene is like all set up right, then everything just doesn't matter. And I remember when you shot that, the fight scene is really good.
Yeah.
The fight scene, because the angle, you see everything. And I don't like movies where there's a million cuts in the fight. I wanted us to feel like we were brawling. Maybe it doesn't look like we're fully like, assassins or anything like that. I didn't want us to feel like trained assassins. We just felt like men that were just trying to survive and kill each other.
Yeah.
That's why I like the fight scenes. Like, have you seen Kingsman?
Of course.
Yeah, like the way that they do the fight scenes is so much different than how a lot of other movies do. Like you feel like almost immersed in the fight scene, and obviously like John Wick, the way that they do it. I will always reference back to John Wick fight scenes because of how technical they are. It's not just some random bullshit punching.
I'd be lying if I told you John Wick wasn't.
I did see a little bit.
That's like super obvious. I get that, like totally. But like, getting those movies
I know.
They're
Sorry, John Wick is a staple in the action AC. I mean, on the fact that like Keanu Reeves he actually earned his honorary black belt in judo for getting ready for that film. And like there's different things like the dedication he has in that film, that clip he does,
Yeah.
that was invented by him. And there's like even like people that are in the gun industry that are like, that's the coolest thing ever. We've never even seen that before. So it's like those little things that make to where like that's a staple.
As my first feature film, I wanted to try and focus on a protagonist, on the story. So as you're following my character, I wouldn't, my ego won't allow me to call myself the main character. I'm the protagonist. You know, you're following him through his eyes, and the audience is kind of learning this mystery and unfolding it together. As the protagonist is learning this stuff, the audience is learning this stuff together. So it's not like he's ahead of the audience. I wanted him to represent the audience. That way we felt like we were on this journey together. And I think for me, again, it being my first film, I didn't want to focus on too many characters. Although it's an ensemble, although there's, you know, many supporting roles, there is the one protagonist that you're following through his eyes. Mm-hmm. So for my next feature film, I wanted to elevate that a little bit. I wanted to bring in multiple protagonists.
Oh, interested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, we can also talk a little bit like off camera, but we're definitely curious about that. But for this one, I'm still curious. What was, especially for someone who doesn't have obviously like the Hollywood budget that could just hire everybody for 3 months, shoot straight. I'm sure this took a long time from like idea to end production. Do you have like a time frame of how long it took you to go from like this is the idea, the writing process, and then shooting and everything like that?
I would say like 5 years. I think that's maybe like a fair like time. I think to work on something like on that scale.
Yeah.
From like coming up with the idea, to writing it and working on multiple rewrites and then showing it to people for the first time and seeing like how they like responded to it.
Yeah.
The script is amazing.
I remember
I loved it so much. I was like, you need to get a big budget for this. And he was like, I'm just going to make it.
That was I think always the problem was it with my ideas is that I am very overly ambitious with my stuff. And they do feel like $1 million, $1 billion kind of blockbuster-ish. Ideas.
Guilty.
But the way that I like want to come at it is like from a low budget point of view, you know, let the shots roll as long as you can, bring in the artistic kind of appeal to it, you know. So like we made it on a shoestring budget, but it doesn't look like that.
Which that's very important, especially for those who are just getting into this industry. For one, I actually love the fact that you mentioned it took 5 years to do it, because there's so many people that were just like, they have like, when we were first doing our first short film, in my mind I was like, we can get this done with 2 months. 6 months later we're still in post-production and trying to get all that. So it's and most of the biggest movies that we love and appreciate today, like I think Deadpool was 8 years, and in that Dallas Buyers took 15 years. Like some of like these big movies, it takes decades upon decades or years for like even after the script is done. 'Cause I'm sure the script itself took a very long time. I don't know how long it was, but for something like that, for a 2-hour movie, I'm sure 100, 200 pages or something.
When you read it, I would say it was kind of like a short condensed version of it. So maybe like if I had to guess, like it was like 30 pages. Like the whole story was holding 30 pages. Okay. But when we went to do the actual film, and I was like getting people's like approval on the idea, I then expanded on every scene to get it like maybe around 150 pages, something like that. So that it was like 2 hours long, and you know, so I wouldn't say a lot of it is like improvised or made up. Like a lot of that is scripted, and we didn't get it one at a time. But also, and people don't work like this, and I totally understand that. But even as we were filming this thing, the movie, I was coming up with more scenes. I was coming up with like, oh well, we add this to this. Now that we're talking about this, maybe we can explore more of that. So and even in post, even when we were done shooting the film, there was still things that were being adjusted. So like you're never truly done with a movie. You know, we wrapped my last feature film, we wrapped it, and then 6 months later, I called my actors back up after I'm almost still at post-production. I'm like, hey, can I get you guys to come back? And they're like, what? And I'm like, believe me, there's things that we can do to add to it. And they're like, you guys did some, right? So it's cool when you have people that are enthusiastic about it.
Because you guys did like ADR and stuff for it, right?
Yes.
Which that's another thing that is one of the things that Arizona people don't do or remember to do. Because I've been like the amount of films that I've done an ADR for one film out of I don't even know how many at this point. And it might seem like, okay, whatever. Like, we have it lopped up, we have the shotgun mic, but there's still so much in the post that, like, okay, well, there's sure rough link here, so doing this.
So my brother went to Crass, which is like an audio engineer.
Yeah, okay.
Here in Arizona. And I remember he told me when I was little, he was like, "Did you know like 90%, like more than 90% of movies are?"
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And I remember telling him, I was like, "No, that's not true." Because when I watch movies, that sounds real. It looks real. It feels real. Like, no. And like that. That was just my ignorant thinking. Is like, trust me, man. And so when I went to start making films and I would like hear the audio, I was like, I would rather re-record all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when it clicked to me. I was like, oh wow, all of this is in post.
Wow.
And I learned about that because they were doing they were doing some stuff, and they were mentioning the movie Venom and about how he's like in the air in a motorcycle. They're like, if we were to actually have got a sound for that, you would have heard nothing but wind rustle.
Yeah.
You can't get the authentic scream of going through the air unless he's in the studio yelling. Like, they have professional screamers, and they have I forgot what that position is called, but they literally had the sound effect. Yeah, the Foley arts.
My favorite films, and the reason why I would say and argue why I do like 90% of my films ADR afterwards is Christopher Nolan. And I don't even know if he does it or not. I'm not even like saying that he does. But when I hear his movies, when I hear the dialogue, man, it sounds so freaking clear.
There's no way he does it.
Clear. I heard a rumor that Oppenheimer had no ADR. I don't know how that's true or possible, man.
I'm looking at it right now.
Like, that's what I heard him say. Man. Like, straight up. Because they're like, oh, we use no visual effects. We don't do any ADR. Like, they brag about that kind of stuff. But when you hear those movies and you're just locked in on that one piece of dialogue, for me, that's like so important. So, like, again, going back to like this film, Remnant, is that like anytime someone is saying in dialogue, for me, it was like very important, so it had to be clear. You had to wipe everything out. Is it true?
Nolan refuses to record ADR, so whatever vocal takes he gets on the day is what the film's theatrical cut has.
And see, that's
what the fuck.
I don't know if that's with all of his films or just exclusively Oppenheimer, but they sound so crisp and clear that like I could never release my movies how they sound raw.
Yeah.
Well, it says that he just refuses to use ADR at all, which is insane. If the
Benson Boom, my guy, man.
For real.
I know. Not only that, I'm like, the amount of action, like the amount of like background sound, like holy shit. I can't imagine. Like, I know that.
I mean, Foley is different than ADR.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But still, like, getting as clear a sound as each year and stuff like Oppenheimer, like, you can hear every little detail of these artists.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, that is absolutely, and I was watching it behind the scenes of Oppenheimer of how like they go through the IMAX, like they literally had to build a new IMAX camera specifically for this because they don't make, I think it was like the 33mm film for that, or whenever they were doing, they don't make that film.
Dude, I'm not tech savvy, but those IMAX cameras are extremely loud, and they're putting it right in the actor space.
Mm-hmm.
So how the hell are they getting clear?
I don't know.
That
is
literally magic.
Which it's so funny too.
No, it's not possible. That's what I'm saying. It has to be ADR. I don't believe that either for 1 second.
Which
hey, whatever they say.
It could only happen with him though, because like if any one of us are like, we're gonna do this, and all the stuff that Christopher Nolan does, it's because of the stats, because of where that his career. That someone like IMAX is able to be like, we're willing to completely re-engineer an entire camera for you. And like, if any other production company would be like, we're not going to use ADR, they'd be like, go fuck yourself. We're using ADR. We're the production company. You're the director. Stay in your lane.
I never thought
I mic my actors up too. Purely at this point, just for reference, just so I can hear what they're saying. Sometimes they'll improvise and go a little off script, which is totally encouraged. But when it comes to time for post, I have to be able to understand what they're saying.
Yeah, so you can match up
the first time I did ADR, I didn't realize how complicated it actually was. Like, to be able to match yourself completely, be able to match all the pod. Like, when we were doing it, we couldn't do it by a full line. We had to literally do it pretty much word by word, because I was like, I can't match the exact pod. When I was acting, I was in a certain mindset, so I took certain pauses to emote a certain way. But when I'm behind a microphone, I'm like, okay, I'm looking. Okay, here's what I'm supposed to say. I'm like, up. Okay, that wasn't where the pause was. And so He was like, we're just gonna do it literally word by word.
And it's tough too when you're doing like super emotional scenes.
Yeah.
Like crying and stuff like that. Like, yeah. For me, when my actors come in, it's mostly a fun process. They always come in and they're like, I'm nervous about this. My lips aren't gonna match. They always tell me the same thing. And I'm like, don't worry about that. I'm listening. I'm watching. If I don't like the way that you're doing it, I'm just gonna keep telling you to do it over and over.
Okay.
And so most of the time, the actors will either get it like right away, and I'll just have them do it a couple more times just for like safekeeping.
Yeah.
But like, I try to make it as less stressful on them and more stressful on me. You just come in, sit down, and just say a couple of lines, really.
And I do want to preface what these terms are in case there is people that are watching this that we're saying term like because I hate listening to stuff that like name in terms and they're like I don't know what the fuck that is because that makes me tune out. With ADR, what does ADR stand? I forgot what the actual
Additional dialogue recording,
Something.
something like that. Basically, it's basically that you're just recording their dialogue, and then fully is sound effects, right?
It's sort of like
making
drinking and
it stands for automated dialogue replacement. So basically, it's where like on set we're usually mic'd up. There's usually a mic or like lav mics and then a boom mic, but the audio still might not be as clear. So we'll do what's called ADR, which will go usually into like a sound booth or something, and the person will play the scene on the screen, and you're supposed to match exactly what you said on there, so they can use the perfected audio over the other audio just to make it sound better. And then Foley, it's where they'll get shoes and put it on sand just to make it to where they can get the sound effect of whatever the environment is. Because you can't get recordings of water or sand.
honestly,
On
the
set.
fight scene.
Yeah.
It looks so much better because of the punch sounds.
Mhm.
I love it because I've done a few fight scenes now,
Mhm.
and like they haven't edited the scenes together with sound yet.
Yeah.
And so it was so fun seeing the fight scene with sound effects because like you have no idea because if you don't have sound effects
Yeah.
then it looks fake.
Yeah.
But if you have them, it's like
The punches felt heavy.
yeah.
Is that was that just like an effect that you had, or did you actually have to record a certain sound?
Some stuff you have to record, but when it comes to like footsteps, punches, you can download fight titles,
Right.
hacks of them. So
I have
we're
a
going
bunch of hacks of
Okay.
so much of all of that. Yeah.
And was there like for like fight choreography? Because obviously there's a lot of fight scene and stuff. Was there like how was the choreography? Because I've been on some sets
Yeah.
that the director doesn't think about that part. They're like, we want you guys to fight, and I'm like, okay, cool. Where's the choreographer to do this? And they're like, oh, we're just gonna improv. I'm like, we're cutting the set right now because you don't improv fight scenes. That's how you get
We
people
could
hurt.
We kind of did. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, we kind of did. To be honest, but there's, we know what it is that we're doing. It's not just like, oh, well, like we're not just standing around like shrugging our shoulders. Like we come prepared. I think we brought mats. I think Alex brought mats for us to like tumble in. Like so, yeah, we were prepared for that. We were prepared to like tumble and hurt ourselves. You can. I think just mentally preparing yourself for that.
Right.
But for me, when it comes to action stuff, I'm not an action choreographer, but I do love, and again, we were talking about this earlier, when things just kind of feel real and authentic.
Right.
So we talk about right then in the scene with the actor, like, what would you do right now? It's like, oh, well, I would walk over here. Okay. I would sneak up on you. Okay, well, then you would flip down here. I want to get on top of you at one point. Well, then I want to get on top of you at one point. And so it's just kind of like that.
That's exactly how it happened.
And then literally we shot it like 5 minutes later. So like we don't waste too much time talking about it because it's like, just do it and do it at 100%.
Well, and I think when it comes to the fight scenes, it also depends. The way that you guys did fight scenes, that wasn't something to where you had to choreograph 14 different moves. Like it wasn't a boxing.
We're not assassins.
Yeah,
This was the part of this. We're not John Wick.
Yeah.
That was the element that I took out from it, was like, okay, we're not like those type of fighters.
Do a couple right hooks, react to it, boom. It wasn't like I'm gonna do right hook, left hook, duck, duck, duck,
Yeah.
and doing like because that's where it's like okay, we need an actual choreographer to come in with like
And the camera op needs to be a part of it.
oh yeah,
Yeah. The most dangerous like stunt was that I did was between me and David's character, David Rice.
yeah,
He was one of our bounty hunters. Great guy. Loved working with him every time.
yeah.
And he was really cool to work in that scene. We were standing on top of this like kind of like bridge,
Yeah.
And we were like looking over the thing, and we were like, it'd be kind of cool if we jumped off of there, wouldn't it? And he was like, I'm down if you're down. I was like, I'm down if you're down. And we had Kaylee there. She was with us behind the scenes. And Lupe was working the camera on that scene at that night. And they both were like looking at us, telling us literally, do not do that. Literally, don't do that. You're going to hurt yourself. We don't let you guys hurt yourself. And me and David were both like, like, and so we didn't practice it.
Yeah.
We just did it. And so I flipped and jumped down first, like literally like superhero landing style. And then he jumped next. And then we started shooting and chasing each other. And it was just this chaotic scene. Again, we're not trained fighters.
Right.
At least my character isn't. He's a bounty hunter. So he's coming at me with precision. But I'm literally like running away and firing at him, trying to like duck cover. And I wanted my character to kind of be a little bit of a bumbling idiot in that regard. Yeah, that to me was just the adrenaline was pumping for us in that scene.
That's awesome.
I love that.
For someone that has now officially gone from just shooting short films to feature films, I'm curious about some of the experiences or some like the takeaways and think like learning curves about going, because obviously like you're shooting 2 different films, but one of them has so much more that goes into it. So I'm kind of curious about some of the learning curves that you had to experience or that you maybe would not repeat on coming to the next film.
I mean, there's always stuff, right, that you're going to walk away and be like, oh, I wish I had more time. I wish I had more gear. I wish I had more resources, stuff like that, to do something. I try not to walk away from stuff like that. I try not to have regrets, I think is what it is people will always kind of have a regret of like, oh, I wish I did more of that project. For me, I need to walk away with my head held high and feel like I gave it the best I could. I did the best that I could. And now it's like just kind of up to everyone else to kind of like take for it whatever they want to. I'm sorry, am I going? Did I answer your question? I'm sorry, can you repeat it one more time for me?
I'll just take certain things that like,
did my takeaways.
We're like the learning things. Like, okay, well, I learned this from it, and to either not repeat or
For your second feature.
yeah. So like
For my second feature, again, honestly, nothing like that comes to mind. Like, oh, I wish hadn't done that. Like, I love the way that I do work with people. People seem to like the way they work with me. Very collaborative. I'm very open-minded about things. So when it came time for my second feature film, I missed being behind the camera. That was one of the things that I was like, oh, I love DPing. I love moving that camera around and kind of like being one-on-one with my actor there like that. So that was something that like I was coming back to. Again, it wasn't like something that like I would love to jump back in front of the camera, and I'm sure that will be in my future someday with the right project that hasn't been presented yet. But I love directing. I love being behind all that. I think I do my best work when I'm focusing on like the large scale of it and not necessarily I have to like learn dialogue today and also tell, the camera people how to like operate and, direct the scene. All that stuff could be a little overwhelming. It had its moments where it was overwhelming, but, I love challenges. That was part of the film was like, I am taking on that challenge and I am taking that responsibility and I own that. So with the next feature film, it was like, oh, well, I'm going to take on the responsibility behind the camera. Now the movie has to look good. And now I have to make sure that fulfills its promise.
So bouncing off of that, then I'm curious, was there a specific reason why you wanted to play that in protagonist role, or was there a consideration of trying to find somebody else? Like, what made it to where you decided that, like, I'm just going to play this, especially if like being behind the camera is where you feel more at home.
This is going to kind of loop right around to the beginning of our conversation. I did look at other people. I did want other people to play Adrian Locke. That was always like, it's easier to just be the director and have an actor, and I always had that chemistry with people. For me, it was hard to find an actor that was sensitive, that could be sensitive, that could kind of connect to the material the way that I needed them to.
Right.
For me, I do have, I grew up having issues with my father. He's unfortunately no longer with me. I did lose him last year. It's still pretty fresh and it's still pretty new. made the movie before he advanced.
Oh wow. Okay.
Kind of was like this life imitating art thing. He never even got to see the project.
Dude.
Me and him were on bad terms towards the end. But the message of the film and the message in my life was always, he's my father at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, blood is blood at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what he did to me, what I did to him. I have to honor him. I have to respect him and figure out what happened to him. And I want to honor his memory. And maybe that's the last thing that I can do to do that. And again, I made Remnant Falls before even losing my dad, before having those kind of issues. It was really just coming from a place of I know what people, I can understand what this feels like.
Right.
When I wrote the script, I can understand this. So I wrote it from that perspective. And then I tried to get an actor, but nobody could relate to that. I think that father-son dynamic of for me, just speaking on myself, of kind of being abandoned at a young age. My mother kind of raised me and all my siblings together, so growing up, I had a lot of questions about where I came from, who I am. And that's the message and the core of the film. And I knew in my heart, I had that sensitivity to kind of hopefully portray that. I don't know if I did, but
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's definitely important to be able to find that. And I learned this last time with having the cast for ours that it is so much harder to do. Rather, you think that, I know 5 people off the top of my head that can portray drama really well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's is there someone who can relate to this character? Is there someone that I can?
reading lines is one thing.
Yeah.
Connecting to it is a whole other.
Do you have formal training with acting, or is it mostly just on?
I don't. My training comes from working with other actors on my films, because everything that I had learned from them was what I brought to it, But again, I always felt like the actors, and this is no dig on them, every actor I work with, they are actors.
Right.
They take a material, they try to memorize it, and they try to portray it the best that they can. But to actually try to channel your childhood, your core memories, to bring that, I think is a lot for some people, And on top of that, just putting that aside, the physicality too. We're talking about jumping over bridges, putting me under the dirt. I couldn't find nobody that would do that for free.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We buried it alive. We
Yeah.
we did.
Yes. And I wanted that. I wanted to feel the dirt inside of my pants, so I knew what it felt like with calling out to be uncomfortable.
No, I've done that kind of stuff. I've been on sets where, are you willing to just fuck yeah? If it's gonna tell a story, I want to do it. If it's gonna do that, that's why I was looking at it. I'm like, where was my call? I said, come on.
I wouldn't call it method acting.
Yeah.
I'm not an actor, and even I don't even have much to even say that. Yeah. But for me, it's just when I'm locked in a scene, I'm kind of really locked in.
Yeah.
So if it's an emotional thing, to just you can't disrupt me. I have to stay emotional as long as possible if the scene demands that,
Which, I mean, that's
You can tell.
the essence of acting.
Yeah, I don't know, but honestly, I think just because you're so connected to the story, you could tell how genuine you were in your acting, which was really cool.
Thank you.
Nah.
I have a question though, just about your dad. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Making the movie before he passed away, how do you feel about it? Even though he didn't get to see it, do you think that the journey you went on was kind of a closure before you even realized it was?
My dad was a huge supporter of everything that I did. He helped me find my mentor in film school. When I was 18, I left home and moved in with him. And so my dad was always encouraging me that whatever I wanted to do, I can do it. And if I wanted to be a director, then I can go do that. And so my dad he would embarrass me in front of people. He would be like, oh, my son, you have to see his film. It's so good. I'm like, geez, this isn't the time to be doing that for a dinner, He would always just shine me on people, and it would just embarrass me. And I miss that so much about him. And going back to your question, I think he would be proud of the film. I never made the film with malice,
Right.
with trying to say that, the father is wrong and the son is right. It was always, they both don't understand each other.
Right.
The son doesn't understand what the father had to go through. And the father doesn't understand what the son has to go through because of his actions. And that was always kind of my message, is that I had to go through certain things because my dad put me through those things.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't understand what he was doing at that time.
Right.
I could never understand. He could tell me, I can hear stories from people, but I will never understand because I wasn't there.
Right.
And he'll never be here in my situation. And so I feel if he did see the film, he would be proud of it. He would love it. My mother was at the premiere and she cried. She loved it. She understood all of that what it meant to me, And so, yeah, I would like to believe that he would love it. Yeah.
I think
Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's a-
no, it's I think that's an important thing, especially with the storyline is literally based around that relationship, and so having that kind of real life relationship dynamic change, it can change a lot about the film itself. Like,
Also, you're telling a relationship about father and son, and there's no father.
right,
It's like you're talking about a ghost,
yeah,
essentially. So it's like, how can I, as the protagonist, remind you and it feel like his presence here was like, oh, well, the watch trading, that's one thing. Yeah, the watch, and that could be something that he talks about that he like is always like wearing and remembers him.
I mean, I felt it just from like your purpose of going there. First,
Yeah.
I just felt that the entire time. And that's kind of cool that you have to think more in depth. And maybe that's, I just didn't even think about that.
Mhm.
But his watch was a thing that I connected with. But the reason why I said that is because I relate to you a little bit. My dad passed away almost 10 years ago now, and he never got to see my first movie. And so I feel, I mean, he's so proud of me still. Yeah. It's really cool that he got to have that.
Thank you.
I'm kind of curious where the idea for Remnant Falls totally just was from. If it was like I wanted to just do an action film with this, or if there was like a very specific like synopsis or just whatever, like where this idea for this film was born out of.
It came to me from like literally in the distant future. That was like the first like line that came to me. I always like loved that. I wanted to tell a story in that world, not too far out, but something that could potentially be close to our future. So it came from that. It came from immigration, from the borders, from keeping people out. I wanted to tell that story about, even though that's not a personal struggle of mine, but that is the struggle of my people, that they have to go through all of that. So I wanted to represent, the Hispanic community in a very subtle, nuanced way. I'm sorry, what was your question?
Where the idea for Remnant Falls?
Sorry, a lot. No, sorry. There were so many ideas. Another idea was kind of police corruption and Big Brother. This kind of Big Brother government organization keeping tabs on us. They're always listening in on us. I wanted to tell that kind of world in that government. So for me, I was always interested in like detective stories. Batman, James Bond, Mission Impossible, anything really that had to do with like a character investigating something, looking into something. So I felt like that was the perfect way to bring people into the journey. As he's again uncovering a mystery, the audience is uncovering that mystery with him. I had so much inspiration from just sci-fi movies, J.J. Abrams, Christopher Nolan, David Lynch. It's the director that did Fight Club. Oh, it's Seven.
You never watched
Oh, no, never seen those films.
Oh, Fight Club.
I'm blanking on their names, but I mean, I'm truly inspired just by everything that I absorb.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really point to one thing and be like, that was it.
That's a great
David Fincher.
David Fincher. David Fincher. I'm glad you said his name. David Fincher. His color grading, his storytelling, his editing techniques, all that stuff to me was, I wanted to bring that into my style.
I feel like it was a great homage to all of those people. It was kind of just like, just threw it all in there. But I definitely saw it.
Yeah, no, it definitely represented a lot of those different elements and stuff, which is really cool to be able to represent in a film like that, especially when you don't have the same resources that those directors do have to be able to tell the stories that they tell. I mean, something like Fight Club, I don't know how much the budget for it was, but I'm sure they had a huge budget that they were able to get fucking Brad Pitt and stuff to portray that. And it's one of his most notable things. Like, I'm surprised you haven't seen like
I haven't seen a lot of things.
it is such
It's hard for me to even put Remnant Falls inside of a genre. I know it looks like an action film. It kind of presented to and marketed like that. But like at its core for me, it was always just like a detective story, just like plain and simple, a detective story and wanting to tell that.
do you plan to make like a sequel to it, or is it a one and done thing?
I 5 years ago, I probably would have said yes.
Yeah.
I had the pre-story, the story that happened before, the story of the father. You would have seen that, and maybe you would have seen something that would have happened afterwards. Don't want to talk about spoilers at the end of the movie, but if the movie didn't end the way it did,
Yeah.
you probably would have seen the father and the son somehow come together through time
Right.
travel and stuff like that. So I was getting to those ideas. But I think ultimately for my first feature film, I just wanted it to be an opening and a closing chapter, people to feel like satisfied. Like I walked away feeling like I don't need to see anything prior or after this. Like that was all I needed to know. And I want to see something more. I want to see something different. I think the point of Remnant Falls is to be interested to see something different, something original next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you planning on trying to? I know that you love the whole DVD thing.
Yeah.
Are you planning on trying to figure out a way to make it more available on streaming services or like YouTube or something?
I think the next thing would be I have thought about putting the first 20 minutes out.
Chat.
I'm good like that. I'm gonna do that just for you now. I got you. No, I swear, I've been thinking about that.
That's
Swear. That's a good way too. Yeah, to kind of promote the movie, get people like, oh, I need to see the rest. So we'll definitely do that soon. But I think in terms of this movie, what was your question again?
Well, just like distribution for like if
Yeah, I think just putting it out on the first 20 minutes and then posting the link to your DVDs would be a good.
yeah, and for the next film, I'm also curious if that's just going to be DVD.
Oh,
or if
right,
that's
right.
just going to be.
I did have a second part to your answer, my bad.
There you go.
I think the next thing to figure out that we haven't been able to right now is digital codes. So when you buy a movie, usually it comes with a digital code. You scan that, and you download an account, and you're able to save that onto your phone. We're not there quite yet, but I do think we are in the step going towards that direction. I do think hopefully with our next feature film that comes out this year,
Okay.
people will hopefully be able to.
What about like streaming services? Like, are you trying to figure out a way to put it on? Like,
I'm kind of done with Amazon, to be honest with you. I think the experience was just so bad. The fact that it takes a long time for them to review it.
yeah,
Just for them to to like decline.
or like anything else, Netflix,
Too
TV.
money, that's what I think is you're doing it way better.
I think with my next film, if you enjoyed even at the slightest Remnant Falls, I think you will really enjoy the next one because there's the style essentially is what I'm taking from Remnant and kind of bring some of that, not everything, some of that over. You are going to have a new, different experience with this film. It is going to look different, but I think in terms of Foley and ADR, it is way better than. And I spent a lot of time on I'm very proud of the work that I put into that. But the work that we put into this next one is just, it's different because you're working with different sound in this kind of genre. It's really exciting.
And for that to be in a horror, I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
Is that's where like you get a lot of the creepy stuff, like the really prickly, crackly type of stuff. So I'm excited for that. And so we can expect that one in October. That like the premiere and everything is gonna be over.
Yes, it's called Midnight Uprising. Ooh, that's the official title of it. There's no, like I said, no poster, no trailer, nothing of that is out. That's gonna come out very soon, relatively. But I think that title should get people.
Yeah. No, I'm excited.
You're asking me earlier about would I make Remnant into a sequel, and I don't. At this point in time, I don't think so. I think I'm done with that story truly. But with what I'm doing next, I fingers crossed am hoping to build something that can tell a full trilogy story.
Oh, that's Midnight Uprising.
I have a question. Why did you want to be more quiet at the time?
Because for me, when it comes to all my work, I don't like to talk about it. I'd rather show you it.
Okay.
Okay. So if I'm going around bragging, saying, "Oh, I got a new movie,"
Yeah.
where is it?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah,
You know what
I
I
do that
mean?
all day.
Not-
All my days.
People are gonna believe that it exists or that, you know. Also, like, I don't want for when it does come out, people are just like kind of underwhelmed by it. You know, you've been talking about it for so long, it doesn't live up to that expectation. And so for me, first impressions are always important. So the day I put out a trailer is like you're going to be wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you've been working on that this entire time. I will say this, at the Remnant premiere, at the time we were shooting it, and we did show a sneak preview trailer of it, and we never put it out online. I was like, this is just for people that come to this and watch it. And so people saw that trailer and freaked out for it, and it still isn't.
Yes, no.
It's cool. It stars John Pena. He's
I love.
our leading man, and then our leading woman is Danielle Tassi.
Oh yeah, I know.
She has done very kind of small, kind of soap opera work in her career. So that's why this film is very different than anything she's done before.
Yeah,
That's like
It's great in it. The whole movie shines.
you'll have to let us know when it comes out. We want to go. We want to be at that premiere.
Oh, you guys will be there. You guys.
Yeah. Let us know. Like we'll do another one of these episodes when that's coming out. Because we love support like that. That's the whole point of this, is being able to support artists coming on to show their work. Like, yeah, cool. Martin Ellis came out with a new thing, but like we wanted to show the fact that like Arizona has some amazing artists that do really cool shit. So we definitely want to be able to kind of put that out there a little bit.
Now, I genuinely appreciate both of your support. I appreciate your support in helping us with the film. And I appreciate you helping us kind of just talk about
Absolutely.
the platform. Truly, like, I'm just proud of all the hard work everyone else put into it. I want to highlight that. More than anything. So if people want to watch this film, watch it for the DPs, watch it for the ensemble.
Right.
The soundtrack too is just really freaking awesome in my opinion.
If people do want to check out Remnant Falls, how can they check that out?
You can go online. You can go on remnantfalls.com, and it'll take you directly to our store, and you can buy a 4K version. You can buy the Blu-ray version, and that'll get sent over to you at your house.
Okay. And then if they want to just follow your journey and stuff as a cinematographer, how can they find you?
I'm on social media at It's Isaac Joel. You can follow me on Facebook and all that, Isaac Joel, and YouTube as well. Like I said, I have a podcast on there where I critique movies, and I love talking about all that stuff. And I post my own personal projects, trailers, and everything like that.
Hell yeah. Well, Isaac, thank you for coming on to kind of give us a little bit of the behind the scenes of making this.
Thank you.
And a little bit of some teaser on the next film, which we're both super excited to watch. We definitely appreciate all of your time. We cannot wait to have you back to talk about it, be able to finally open the door a little more to Midnight Uprising. But yeah, thank you, man. We love you. Thanks for coming on.
And